Okay, moving on from the previous point, we'll move on to the next one, the dead earth world view. This view, it gives us a picture that man has considered nature, the earth, to be a dead material. Now, time and again, because of various things, nature is considered as dead one. It all started because of the previous topic that was spoken about, because of the eco-apartheid. Man thought that man is separate and nature is separate, no need to be united. So man has, as technology improved, he started gaining lot of power and control over nature. He thought he was very dominant. He, when he could build bridges over oceans and cut down everything and then construct so many amazing and brows raising structures. All this, it gave him a lot of confidence. At the same time, a lot of overconfidence that he is the supreme power and nature has got nothing to do with his supremacy. But time and again, nature is teaching such wonderful lessons. Of course, it is giving us a very strict lesson. It has given us tsunami, it has given us some earthquakes and volcanoes and forest fires. All of them, they have told that man is still a child in nature, in the womb of nature. He just can't evolve as one supreme power. But eco-apartheid is just the feeling that all of us have in us. And because of eco-apartheid, here we continue to say that this eco-apartheid, the very idea, it came not just yesterday or today or just 2 years back. It was during the Industrial Revolution. So as I just told you, the inventions, the revolutions that man made, it gave him a lot of confidence. No doubt it gave him confidence. But at the same time, he started degrading other factors from which he grew. He did not like it at all. He did not appreciate it at all. So this Industrial Revolution, it gave the idea of eco-apartheid into human beings. They started thinking that the forest that lay there, that had to be cleared off, making lot of place for industries, because they understood that industry brought in lot of economy, brought in lot of benefit and profit. It gave them lot of life. They started viewing nature, the trees, the plants, the rivers as something, immaterial. It was waste. It was just lying there. So they did not understand, in literary language we say, we forget to understand in between lines, we forget to read in between lines. They did not consider how beneficial nature was. They just thought that industries had to come up, and therefore all the land that was there, it was, the forest that was there, that was cleared off to give way for industries. And that is how this monoculture, it replaced diversity. There was a lot of diversity there. There were a lot of variety of trees that had grown, and there was variety in fauna also, flora also, and different kinds of animals and species were there in the forest. All of them had been, they were cleared off, and therefore there was only one monoculture that started growing up, and that monoculture is the industry. So that, Industrial Revolution, it gave a lot of prominence for monoculture. And because of monoculture, because of Industrial Revolution, terra nullius, it started replacing terra madre. Terra nullius, this is a Latin word. Terra means land, like how you have your terracotta, this mud that you get, and then you start creating different articles out of it. Terra means land, nullius means empty. So wherever there was terra madre, madre is mother. Wherever mother was Mother Earth, wherever there were plants and trees growing in abundance, all this was cut off, and that empty land, it started replacing. Empty land in the sense, there were industries, there were buildings, but not the fertility that the land had. Not all that treasure the land had. So all the treasure was taken away by the industries, and terra nullius is started. It became impotent. The land also, it lost its fertility. And all this started because of Industrial Revolution. In connection with this, we have the father of modern science, Francis Bacon, who said that science and inventions, they have the power to conquer and subdue nature. He was the father of modern science. So naturally he supported science and technology, and he said, yes, the science is so strong, the power of science is so strong that it can conquer the whole earth and subdue nature to her foundations. Subdue means to suppress. It can conquer the whole earth, and then it can just snub. It can just stop the earth from growing. It can destroy nature to any kind. So that was his opinion. He felt that science was very, very important, and it was more powerful in human beings' life. But on the contrary, in contrast to his saying, there was Caroline Merchant, who was a philosopher and a historian. He laid his proposal, he laid his arguments, and he said there should be a shift of perspective from nature as living, nurturing mother to dead and manipulable matter has led to the death of nature. He said, see, this is not because of science, this is not because of technology and all those things. It's only the shift in the mind. Mind has started inclining, going towards development, science and technology. We have to come back. We have to stay back amidst nature. Only then we can understand. So he says, the shift, because this shift that we can see is only a perspective. It is our view. It is our thought. It is our way of seeing things. And our shift is from nature as living and nurturing mother to dead and manipulable. Manipulable, anyhow it can be manipulated. If you want, you can grow something here. If you want, you can construct something here. So it can be highly, it's very flexible. That kind of manipulable and dead matter, this thought, this perspective has led to the death of nature. We have to understand, this is a big lesson, and it can't just be spoken in 10-20 minutes. We can understand how our ancestors, not just my generation or the previous generation, human beings from before the evolution, they were very happy in the cradle of nature. Man, that ape kind of man, he could protect himself in a cave. And then he started inventing fire, and all this evolution has happened. But our ancestors, they worshipped nature. They thought nature was the one who could protect them. Nature was the one who could give them food, either make them survive or kill them. That thought, that strong belief, and that respect they had for nature. But now, because of technology and all those things, man has lost all this, and he's just started thinking that nature is nothing but dead and manipulable matter. So now continuing, nature also has a limit to agree all this, to sustain the problems, to sustain all the difficulties that are given to it. She will definitely revolt. Like any other individual, she also knows how to resist, all these kinds of abusing that is happening to her. Once nature revolts, she revolts back in a very strong manner, and man cannot bear her punishments. So what nature teaches us and how we should be treating nature is learnt in the next point, what nature teaches us. It is, the article here, it says that it is very important to move from the paradigm of nature as dead matter to an ecological paradigm. Paradigm, belief, your view. We have to change our thoughts from nature as dead matter to ecological. We should stop degrading nature as dead matter. We should look at a very better perspective. So this shift has to happen, and this shift is very, very mandatory. That is, the next point that we have here is Earth University. We have learnt about many universities here. Every 2 days, there is a new university coming up. So don't worry, you shouldn't be panicking. Where did this Earth University come from, and what are the courses that are taught there? Yes, there is a university called Earth University, and this Earth University, it teaches one unique special course, that is Earth Democracy. Democracy is what we follow in our country. It is by the people, for the people, and of the people. So Earth Democracy also is by Earth, of Earth, and for Earth. Everything revolves around Earth. So this Earth University teaches Earth Democracy, and Earth University, Earth Democracy is nothing but, Earth Democracy is a shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. You know what does centrism mean? Have you heard about centrism? Can you tell me, or if possible, can you recollect any kind of centrisms? Yeah, we have the heliocentrism, we have the geocentrism. Geocentrism meaning Earth is the center, and all other planets and objects that are all moving around Earth. Heliocentrism, Sun is the center and all planets are revolving around it. So anthropocentrism means human-centered. Man is at the center and all the other things are revolving around him. They are moving around him. That means all other things are moving around to benefit human beings. That is anthropocentrism. From that, we have to shift to ecocentrism. Ecocentrism meaning nature as the center. Nature is at the center and all human activities has to move around nature. That is ecocentrism, and that is taught in Earth Democracy. Earth Democracy just teaches us that we have to have a shift like this from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. Earth University is now situated at Navadanya, that is Vandana Shiva's university, and there are two best courses that are offered. That is A to Z of Organic Farming, Gandhi and Globalization. There are two courses that are given, and out of which this one could have been the most popular one because organic farming is the hot cake nowadays. So everybody wants to know what is organic farming, how organic farming is done, and how everything could be grown organically. So in Earth University, that is situated in Navadanya, there are two courses that are offered. These are the courses that are offered. So this is about what nature teaches us. We have one more point to talk about, and that is our own nature poet of the yesteryears, Rabindranath Tagore, and what his idea was about nature, how he wanted human beings to be united with nature, why Indian culture is so rich. Indian culture is very rich because we all have worshipped nature, we respect nature a lot, and all those things are spoken in the next point. We'll now move on to the seventh point of Vandana Shiva, that is Tagore and his view about nature. Okay, we've come to the last bit of Vandana Shiva's essay, having separated into 7 different structures, different points. We've come to the last one, and very, very nice and appealing one, wherein we have lot of intake from Tagore's work. Tagore, we have all known him as a nature poet. This nature poet, he talks about many things that has made human beings and their lives be united with nature. Let us talk about the points one by one. The Poetry of the Forest is the title that is given. Vandana Shiva's essay itself, it is motivated, it is taken in, it was only because of this essay, this book from Tagore. The concept of Earth University that was started in Navadanya, that was only because of Tagore's Tapovan. Tagore's Shantiniketan that is there, and that is also called as the Tapovan. Shantiniketan is amidst nature and forest. That was created, that was started only with the purpose that people could sit back, relax, and then forget themselves and be more creative. So it is known in Indian history that whenever man just throws himself, it's not just going and coming back. You have to surrender yourself amidst nature. You are your creative best. Whenever man goes amidst nature, he forgets himself. So, a lot of examples can be given to this. A very simple one is when you have a day out with your friends, either in a beach or near a waterfall. Man forgets that he is a human civilized person. He becomes a child. He is just like any other animal, enjoying water. So poet here, he tries to say that man is at his creative best when he is amidst nature. You have to surrender yourself to nature so that every best thing, that creative best thing that is there in you, it just comes out. And the very concept of Earth University was inspired by Tagore and his Shantiniketan. Shantiniketan is the forest school. It's the Gurukula system that was first started in India. The Gurukula, the official Gurukula, not about the olden and the epic Gurukulas that we had. The forest school, and it was to take inspiration, it was started to take inspiration from nature and to create Indian cultural renaissance. Renaissance is rebuilding, coming back again. And this one was started. Shantiniketan, with the only intention was to make people understand how beautiful their life would be when they are amidst nature. So it was to take inspiration from nature. Whenever you have to write a poem, whenever you have to write a song, whenever you have to create different dance forms, anything that is related to art, all these just come out of nature. So even photographers, for that matter, they are at their creative best when they are amidst nature. They have a flower, they have a butterfly, they have a small spider also, an ant that is taking its food, carrying 1,000 times its own weight. Now, all these inspires photographers, not the building, not the rubble that we have, not the garbage dump that we have, not people urinating on the footpaths. These cannot be sources of inspiration. They can only mock at our civilization. So we get nature, we get inspiration from nature. So that was Shantiniketan. That was the reason why it was started. And it also to create the cultural renaissance, the rebirth of Indian culture. Indian culture that was, almost spoiled because of the British rule, that had to come back, with a lot of boom, a lot of zeal. It had to come back, and Shantiniketan, it played a very important place in cultural renaissance. Tagore, he wrote his essay, Tapovan. Tapovan, the forest, it is the poetry of forest. In that, he says, Indian civilization has found its regeneration in the forest. Regeneration is rebuilding, rebirth. Indians, whenever we are bored of our day-to-day chores, regular routine of getting up early in the morning, going to the office, getting hits and bangs from the boss, completing targets, reaching targets, completing the project, all this. Whenever we get 2 days off, whenever we get off, we are the first ones to run away from the city. We just hunt for different places. Even if it is a small resort with 3 trees, we are happy with it. But we don't want to stay in our house. We don't want to stay amidst our own beloved electronic gadgets. We just want to go away from all these places, relax ourselves. Once we are amidst nature, in the cradle of nature, we feel regenerated. We feel recharged and come back. We have all the energy. We keep that memory for a long time. Come and work with all the memory here. So India, Indian culture, Indian civilization, it has all the time, from years ago, it has always found its regeneration, rebuilding, rebirth only in the forest. If you are there, you are, you forget yourself, you are at your creative best. So forest teaches us, what is this? So what is so great in forest? It teaches us enoughness and principle of equity. It teaches us to be satisfied. See, when we talk about satisfaction, when we talk about this enoughness, we have to learn a big lesson from the king of animals, the lion. The lion, when it hunts, it will not allow any other animal to come near its prey. It is one authority, very powerful animal also. It just wants to pounce on its prey and take the hot share of it, the hot blood, the hot flesh. But once it is full, it does not even turn back towards its prey. It does not have this mentality of protecting or preserving that food for the night, for the next day, for its children, for its wife, nothing like that. Animals do not have this nature of preserving things for the future. It's only human beings that do that. We prepare food today and then keep it for 2 days and then eat it. We have this bad habit. Nature, it teaches us that. So once the lion, it is happy, it is filled with, its stomach is filled, it just goes away. And then next comes the hyenas. Hyenas they are known for this. The foxes and the hyenas, they come, they eat whatever is left out by the lion's share. And once they are happy and contented, they move away. Then it is the vulture and the eagle's share to come. They come, they eat their food and they fly away. And then it is the small tiny insects and the ants and termites and all those things, they start having their own share of the food. So this lesson is taught to us in nature, in the forest. So forest, it teaches us enoughness and the principle of equity. Equity, everybody is equal. Everybody should get their own share. Only man has made this rich and poor and big improper ratio of sharing business and sharing profit and all those things. It is only in human beings. So forest teaches this. Forestally, we also find this unity in diversity. That, from unity in diversity, our Indian society has inculcated, has taken in unity in diversity. Tagore's essay, and based on this, Vandana Shiva tries to say that there has to be unity and diversity in a society. Only then the society can be complete and it can be harmonious. What will happen if one factor is dominant? If diversity is dominant, if diversity is there without unity, then it is a source of conflict and contest. Contest is to fight and conflict is to again fighting. Contest is to have a competition. If you have lot of unity, you don't have unity in you, but you are diversified, you have lot of variety, but what will happen? We start fighting internally. We start conflicting with each other. But once we are united, we all can fight back with our enemy. So that is what Vandana Shiva tries to say. So there has to be diversity in unity. Without unity, diversity, it leads to conflict and contest. What will happen if unity is dominant and there is no diversified features in these creatures? Unity without diversity. All of us are united, but all of us have the same talent. All of us are united, but none of us are extravagantly talented. So in that case, it is ground for external control. Somebody else from outside, they'll come, they'll control over us, and then they will start ruling over us because we have to depend on somebody else for some other character that we don't have, because we lose this diversity. We are not diverse in our talent. So there has to be unity also with diversity. So finally, unity in diversity, it is the basis of democracy. Democracy by us, for us and from us. Everything will be amongst ourselves itself. So unity in diversity is an essential factor. That is what Vandana Shiva tries to say. So going to the last 2 points, nature, it only teaches us how to enjoy our gifts. See, we have been gifted with many things by nature. It's only our greed that is overpowering our need. Once man understands, even Gandhiji said the same thing, the day man understands what his need is and suppresses his greed, then the whole world will prosper. That is what were his words. So we have to enjoy the gifts of nature without exploitation and accumulation. Accumulation is to just put it, just to contain, store it for the future. Kudidodu. It is just keeping it for the future. That is accumulation. Exploitation is overuse of anything, and even the water resources, the air, the fertilizers, everything is exploited. So you have to learn how to enjoy the gifts of nature without any kind of exploitation, without destroying it, and you need not have to store it for future. You don't have to accumulate it. And therefore, finally, the final word is, if the day we all understand what is consumerism, when we end this consumerism andre, the consumer is at the center and everything is revolving around consumer. So everything is for the sake of consumer. Everything is produced and he becomes very greedy. He just exploits and accumulates and all those things. So the day we stop this consumerism, and the day we stop this accumulation of the resources, that is the beginning of the joy of living. Then we will understand how beautiful it is to live. So to enjoy the joy of living, you will have to stop accumulating, you'll have to stop consumerism, you'll have to only share and use whatever is very essential to you. So these are the few outputs that Vandana Shiva tries to say in her essay. And whatever the chapter that we have, they are just excerpts of Vandana Shiva's big essay, which tells us lots and lots to learn about nature. In fact, from this lesson, after we understand this, we learn how inconsiderate we are towards nature, how we completely have forgotten to respect her. We've gone to the verge of killing ourselves by exploiting nature. So let us all strongly think on this chapter, and probably we'll all move a step ahead towards conservation of energy, conservation of nature, protecting of flora, fauna and all those things. And let us try to be more good to nature. Thank you.